Hi everybody, this is a tutorial for how to set up a quiz and set up quiz questions for your new online course. And there's a couple ways that you can do this. You can set up the quiz first and then set up the questions, or you can set up the questions and then set up the quiz. I like to do the questions first. So to do that, you would come up here to the gears and click on Course Management. And then we're going to first set it up by category. And the reason you do this is if you have a number of different quizzes that you're going to be setting up, I like to put all the questions separated in each category. So for example, all of my questions on the reproductive system are separate from all of my questions on the urinary system. That way, if when I want to go in and add or delete or pick which ones I want to use, they're all in their own categories. So click on question category and you will see, because this is my online course, you can see all kinds of different categories. Yours will likely just have the default for whatever your course shell is. So I'm going to name this Practice Questions for Online, just so that we can add a new category. Click Add Category. And then you will see that that came up under my default. You can have all kinds of trees, so I have different lab exams and things like that that you can set up too. When you go into questions to add your first couple questions, you're going to want to make sure you're in the right category. So we're going to do practice questions for online. And then you can see I have no questions here yet. So we're going to create a question. And there's a lot of different kinds of questions. You can have essay questions, you can have matching questions, drag and drop, all different types of questions here. I usually tend to use these top three: multiple choice, true, false, or short answer. So we're going to make a multiple choice question. Once you get there, you'll see that there's a question name and question text, and you have to put something in both of these boxes. The question text is the part that the student will see. The question name is the part that you'll see, basically, although you also see part of the question text. If the question text happens to be really long, you'll only see the first line of it. So I just usually make these the same thing. So for example, in light of what's going on, I'm going to make up a question that says, what type of agent is COVID-19? So this is topical since we're all home quarantined. And I'm just going to copy and paste so that the same text is in both. You can choose whether one answer is sufficient or whether you want to have multiple answers that are allowed. You can choose whether you want to shuffle the choices. So this is what the student sees. So if choice 1 is bacteria, and choice 2 is virus, and choice 3 is prion, and choice 4 is, I don't know, fungus, you can choose whether to have those shuffled for the student or not. Then you also have to choose which is the correct answer. So the grade tells the computer how much of the score to award for a student that picks this choice. So virus is correct because coronavirus is a virus. And then you can scroll down. It automatically gives you 5 choices. If you don't use all 5, that's okay. If you need more than 5, you would click blanks for 3 more. Then you're going to save your changes. And you can see that your question has come up here as our one question in our practice questions for online. You can edit the question by clicking on the gear icon. You can look closer at the question by clicking the preview or the preview button, and then this will show what it looks like. This is the question, and you can see that it shuffled the choices, and the student would then have to click on D on this one. You can delete the question if you decide you don't like it anymore. You can also copy the question, and this is useful when you want to use those 4 choices for another question. Okay, so now I have about 40 questions in my this particular question bank, and I'm ready to set up my quiz. So you're going to go back to your main course shell, and then you're going to make sure that you turn your editing on. So this green button, click it. That will turn on editing so that you can add things to your shell, and it'll turn red, which means you're allowed to add things. And I'm just going to scroll down and find a place to add this in. So you go to some module that you had and click on Add an Activity or Resource. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to add a quiz. So you're going to click here on Quiz and then press Add. All right, and then I'm going to add practice quiz for online. And you can put a description in here. This is to make You can display this description on the course page if you'd like. And then here is where you would put in when you want the quiz to happen. Now you can just leave all of these blank and then it's just available anytime. However, if you want to open it on a certain day and close it on a certain day, you have to click these enable ones. And then you can change the date. So if I wanted to open today and close tomorrow, I would do that, and you can even put the time. So I usually go from, the very beginning of the day, 12:01 a.m., until I tend to go to 11:55 p.m. I find students have a hard time if you tell them midnight. So you can also set a time limit. So if you want to enable the time limit, you can say, okay, they're going to have 60 minutes to take this. You can choose what to do when the time expires. I like to say at the time it expires, anything that's open gets submitted. You can put in your grade, which means you put it into whichever category you want. I'm going to put this one into exams. I'm going to only allow them to have one attempt if this was a quiz. However, if you wanted to do more of a formative assessment so that they could take it as many times as they wanted and practice, you would put it as unlimited. There's all other types of restrictions and things that you can do here, but for just a basic practice quiz, this is the way to go. So you're going to save and return to the course. And you can see here's your little quiz that you just made. However, we haven't put the questions in it yet. So you have to click on the link, and that'll bring up the page. Anytime you need to edit this quiz or do anything, you would click here, Edit Settings, give overrides, any results that you want to see, you could click there. Since no questions have been added, we're going to just edit the quiz, and we're going to add questions. And I like to add a random question. So I'm going to go to my practice questions for online. I have 40 questions in there, and I'm going to add 20 random questions. And you can see that each question is on its own page, and it's going to be a question that's pulled at random from that question bank that I just made. Now you can repaginate and you can say, okay, I actually want to have 5 questions per page. And then you'll see that each page will have 5 questions on it. You can look and you can see, that it'll just grab a random question. This would be one of the questions the students can get. Now you can also put in the maximum grade here. So I have 20 questions. I could put in 20 points and then click Save. That means this quiz is worth 20 points. They can take it as many times as they want until they get the 20 points. You can also make it worth 0 points, so it's totally a practice. They don't get any points for completing it. And then you would just put the total number of points as 0. You can put it as 100 points. You can put whatever number of points you want, and it'll figure out how many each question gets. That's it for creating a quiz. Have a good day.